Welcome back to the show. Tonight's guest is the founder and CEO of a company called FullContact that graduated from the 2011 class of Techstars in Boulder. Please welcome Bart Lorang. Welcome.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, bud.
So tell me a little bit about FullContact.
Well, FullContact, we sort of call ourselves the API that turns partial contacts into full contacts.
So having nothing to do with jiu-jitsu.
No, we're not a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. We're just an API for developers.
Very cool. So what do you do? Tell me what the APIs do.
So essentially, you sort of see partial contacts everywhere. You see email addresses, you see sort of first name, last name, social profiles. But what people really want is a full contact. So our API accepts, say, an email address or a phone number, maybe a social URL, and turns it into a complete, full, accurate contact with name, title, photo, company, and complete social profile on that person.
So you guys came out of the 2011 Techstars class. I want to talk tonight a little bit about your fundraising process. Mm-hmm. So did you guys start fundraising before you got into Techstars?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how did that go?
Not well, not well. It was a long process. I think I had 125 no's before I got my first yes.
How did that first yes feel after 125 no's?
Well, it was for $25,000. So I was like,
did you feel like you won the lottery?
I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, won, right? And so I was like, okay. I was raising $500K at the time. I was like, okay, I just need, 19 more of these, right? So I need, I don't know the math, but I need like, another 2,000 no's.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I've got to get through another 2,000.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, 2,000 no's. Okay, I can do that.
So you went out and started fundraising. Did you maintain a lot of people locally, or did you try to go to the coasts? Where did you
there's a lot of angel investors out there who sort of are what I call dumb money, right? There's like, might write one check every 5 years, and that's a terrible angel investment strategy, right?
Okay, tell me, so there's this notion of dumb money versus smart money.
Yeah.
Explain the difference and explain how you approach that.
So initially, I was like, I didn't
Money's
get the difference.
money, it's green.
Money, I'm like, whatever.
Spins the same.
Whatever. We need cash, right? I can't keep funding this myself, right?
My credit cards only have so much
so
room.
dumb money is typically people writing checks that are not going to add value above and beyond that. They're not going to make introductions for you. They're not going to sort of help you with mentorship or any sort of value add.
That's your uncle.
Right.
Yeah,
Friends,
your friends.
Yeah, your friends, your family, and fools.
Dumb money. Yeah.
Dumb money,
Gotcha.
typically, right? And then there's like investors who you want to take their money, even if it's $5,000, because you know they're going to add so much more value above and beyond. That's the smart money, right?
And how much of your first round did you raise dumb versus smart?
Well, my investors are probably watching this. So,
they're all brilliant. Every single one.
I extracted value of every single one, Chris.
Oh,
absolutely,
outstanding.
absolutely,
Well done.
absolutely.
Well done.
No, but actually, our first investor actually ended up doing BD work for us for quite some time, and so he was a lot of value add.
When did this all change? So you're out struggling. You're trying to raise money for this incredible product. You have this great vision that you're going to change the world of contact information.
Right.
And it all changed. When?
It started to change when we got accepted to Techstars, or when it was imminent, essentially.
Is Techstars the 2012 equivalent of winning Willy Wonka's golden ticket?
Absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Very nice.
absolutely, man.
Okay, cool.
It's harder to give in the Harvard, like Yale and Princeton combined, right? I mean, I think they accept.
How much money did you pay the Techstars guys to get in?
I can't disclose that. No, we gave them 6% of our company.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Exactly. Which is worth at least $1 billion.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Totally $1 billion. Okay, so you get into Techstars, and now I imagine the fundraising conversations you have are incredibly different.
Mm-hmm. All the investors who are sort of, no, we don't think you're really a company. We think you're a feature, not even a product.
Yeah.
Right? Sort of like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's talk. So my initial seed round ended up being oversubscribed going into Techstars. Right, so all of a sudden I had all these people saying, "Oh, they're going to be a Techstars company."
What did you raise in your seed round?
I ended up raising $350K in the seed round because we knew we had Techstars demo day coming up, so I didn't go for the full 500. Yeah. So we essentially raised the 350, and that was oversubscribed, so we got to sort of pick and choose.
So you exit Techstars, and now you go to raise again?
Yeah. So I mean, there's sort of this intense focus in Techstars in the last month for Demo Day, when you have VCs, angel investors, entrepreneurs from all over the country, and also press, coming to Boulder, descending on Boulder for a couple days to watch 10 companies pitch. So we said, hey, we're
By the way,
talking.
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at
Yeah.
all. So we sort of have our moment in the sun to sort of, okay, pitch. And we said, yeah, we're going to raise some money. Some more money, because we were running out of money because we had hired like 4 guys. And we're like, oh, okay, we're running out of money again. All right, let's raise some more.
What advice would you give the struggling entrepreneur, the person who's really thinks that they're sitting on the next billion-dollar company?
Never say die, never quit, never surrender.
I mean,
good entrepreneurs.
Is it truly that simple? Is it as simple as just after getting kicked in the teeth, getting back up the next morning and go and taking the next meeting?
I mean, let's be clear. I wasn't trying the same pitch 127 times. All right? Like, you'd be insane to try the same thing over and over. Right. Yeah. You know, test things. Keep trying. Keep after it. You know, don't just keep beating your head against the same wall. Try different approaches.
How did you use your network to try to access this capital?
So yeah, I mean, I'm a LinkedIn whore, right?
Are you a premium user?
Yeah, I'm a premium user.
How much do you pay LinkedIn?
I don't, you know, too much. Right?
Their shareholders, thank you.
Yes. There's that, and then also in the tech scene, just start going to events, start being known. Come out to, you know, Starto, the Starto loft, and come watch us, right? Be everywhere all the time. That was the key. We were just omnipresent. Our founders.
There's a great, I can't remember who did the interview, but they said, when you're fundraising, just be awesome. Just be awesome.
Yeah.
You got to be everywhere and be awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How did you guys be awesome?
We pulled a lot of stunts. So we had like this bright yellow neon T-shirts we were wearing around like idiots, and we wore them everywhere, right? Nice. But everybody like recognized us all the time. Like, I see you guys everywhere.
You're the douchebags that wear the yellow shirts.
Bingo, nice. Right? It works. You know, I still use that tactic to this day. I mean, down at South by, we had 9 guys down there with wing bandits, so headbands with wings, and it was like, we're seeing those everywhere, right?
Nice.
So
we got a Twitter question asking, 1, about competition in your space, and 2, what were the elements that made you successful? Was it simply grit, or was it some other factor of luck?
Yeah, I mean, of course there's competition, right? I mean, startups need to realize that their idea is not unique. And if
Hold on, could you repeat that?
Their idea is not unique. In fact, it's worth nothing. Right?
As a matter of fact, I would argue if your idea is worth a dime, 5 other people have it right now.
It's all about execution, right? So we have competitors, of course. I think we're unique in our approach to targeting developers with great infrastructure and great plumbing. That's unique.
Everybody talks about execution. You got to execute. Great ideas are a dime a dozen, but you got to execute.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Okay, so I mean, in the context of startups, execution is really a search for sustainable and scalable business model. It's about the search, right? So you have a hypothesis, you test it, repeat, find customers, find out what they want, get outside the building, right? Steve Blank talks about this a lot. Once you're past that startup phase and you have hundreds of customers, then it becomes about just executing that business model, right? So executing customer development is the key part for a startup.
So I've seen so many cool startups that have gone down a road and they get so set in what they think their business is going to be. And that's that tough factor, right? And you have to have that to survive.
Yep.
But balance that with this notion that you have to be flexible and change and the quote unquote pivot that every startup goes through.
Yeah, I mean, there are no answers inside your building, right? Facts live outside the building. Data lives outside the building. Get out there. You know, I've seen it so many times. Engineers get together and say, yeah, and they agree on a solution, and nobody wants that solution.
Yeah, it's like
right?
the most beautiful.
They're like, yeah, of course, and they convince themselves, and then they're coding for 3 months. It happened to us, right? We built a product nobody wanted, right? And then we're like, what? Okay. Nobody wants this?
What do you mean nobody wants this?
Yeah, we made it scale before we had any users, and terrible idea. But you know, you got to be careful of that. Get outside the building, validate your hypotheses before you actually start coding your product.
So we've got another Twitter question, and the question revolves around when you pivoted your company. So talk about pre-pivot, talked about why you pivot, what were the forces that made you pivot, talk about what the outcome was.
Right, it was actually the very first day of Techstars, the first night of Techstars, actually. David Cohen emailed us after the first dinner and said, please come see me in my office.
Did you think you were getting
Yeah,
kicked off the
I'm
island?
like, oh man, we're out already? Like honestly, like,
who got us
I'm
out?
like, wow.
Who kicked us
that was the 4 hours, wow. Well, that was the world record.
Techstars ever.
So no, he just sat us down. It's like, I think what you guys do is really simple. I mean, you turn partial contacts into full contacts, and you need to do that as an API. And we're like, well, we've been working on this API. He's like, yeah, you need to focus on that. And we're like, we talked about
That's
it.
just a side part of our business.
Yeah, we talked about it.
No, that's not.
He's like, and we're like, yeah, but what about this and this? Is yeah. But what you guys do as an API is the really hard stuff. And we go, yeah, but dude, fixing contact records is really effing hard. He's like, that's why you should do it. And we're like, okay.
In your experience, you've seen so many of these startups that come against that friction point. Some make it, the vast majority don't.
Right.
What was it about you guys that were able to go into that Dave Cohen meeting and all those customer meetings that allowed you to be open-minded and make that pivot?
Maybe it was just the fact that we weren't succeeding in the other round.
Failure?
Failure.
Yeah.
Like had we not failed yet, we probably wouldn't have been so willing, right? I mean, there's this idea of fail fast, right? And that's a good thing. Fail quickly. Don't fail over 6 months or 6 years.
Let's say Techstars was a win for you.
Win, big win.
Big
Yeah,
win.
Big win.
So would you have gone through another incubation program? In other words, so Techstars wasn't around, didn't exist.
I mean, at that time, there were not a lot of local ones, but now there's some great ones springing up here. There's Founders Institute, and then you've got Galvanize and Plug and Play sort of starting up. It's gonna be fascinating to see all these accelerators and incubators, and they're two different things, but what that does for the local community.
Making this one of the greatest places to start a company.
I think it's the best place to live and to work, Colorado.
And where can people find you?
FullContact.com.
FullContact.com. How can they get in touch with you?
Bart at FullContact.com.
Bart at FullContact.
Yeah, my contact information is right on the front page of our website.
Is that right?
Yeah,
How many
absolutely.
spam emails do you get? Because
Not a lot, actually. A lot of people don't realize that. Like my cell phone number's on there. You can call me, text
it's
me.
a
I don't
magical
care.
picture. You look
Yeah.
quite handsome.
Oh, thank you. A lot better than now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
You look
airbrush.
great. There was airbrushing involved. Well, Bart, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Derek Holt and Bilar Zuberi. Thanks to all the office freakouters. Please continue freaking out so we can watch and laugh at you every single week. And join us next week for another episode of Starto.